Hey there, and welcome to the Easy Peasy Methodcast. If you're tired of the willpower battle and ready to break free from porn without struggle, you're in the right place. This isn't just about quitting, it's about seeing things differently, reclaiming your joy, and living life on your terms. Let's get started. Today we're talking about something that scares a lot of people when they try to quit porn, the withdrawal period. If you've ever tried to quit before, you know exactly what I'm talking about. The brain fog, the irritability, the restless energy, maybe even mood swings or random cravings that seem to come out of nowhere. And because of all this, a lot of people assume quitting means suffering, that they're in for weeks or even months of torment, that life without porn will be unbearable. But what if the fear of withdrawal is actually the biggest illusion of all? What if the way we look at withdrawal is completely wrong? That's what Easy Peasy reveals. It teaches that withdrawal isn't actually suffering, it's healing. The discomfort we feel when quitting isn't something to be afraid of. It's just our body and mind resetting, and the moment you see withdrawal for what it really is, you stop resisting it, you stop dreading it, and suddenly it loses all its power over you. Let's start by breaking down what withdrawal actually is. When people hear the word withdrawal, they think of a heroin addict shaking in bed, sweating through their clothes, suffering from full-body cravings. But that's not what quitting porn looks like. This isn't a chemical detox in the way that quitting alcohol or hard drugs would be. It's a dopamine reset, a process your brain goes through when it stops getting artificial spikes of pleasure from porn. Here's how it works. Every time you watch porn, your brain releases huge amounts of dopamine, way more than it would from normal activities like exercise, talking to friends, or eating a good meal. And over time, your brain adjusts. It realizes, wait a second, we're getting way too much dopamine from this one activity. So, to compensate, it lowers your natural dopamine sensitivity. It numbs you. That's why, the longer you watch porn, the harder it is to enjoy simple things. Conversations feel dull. Hobbies feel boring. Even real-life attraction starts to fade because your brain has been trained to expect supernormal stimulation, something that everyday life just can't match. Then, one day, you decide to quit, and suddenly, your brain isn't getting those huge dopamine spikes anymore. But because it's been running on low dopamine sensitivity, everything feels off. You feel restless, irritable, maybe even bored out of your mind. And this is where most people make the big mistake. They assume that this means quitting is making them miserable. They assume it means they need porn to feel okay. But that's not what's happening at all. What's happening is your brain is healing. It's waking up, it's readjusting to normal dopamine levels. The discomfort isn't a punishment. It's proof that your brain is recovering. And the best part? It doesn't last. Just like how a broken bone heals over time, your dopamine system naturally resets itself. The longer you go without porn, the better you start to feel. Now let's talk about why people get stuck in the withdrawal trap. One of the biggest reasons people relapse is because they misinterpret withdrawal symptoms. They assume, oh no, I feel worse without porn. Maybe quitting was a mistake. But think about it. Imagine you've been drinking 10 cups of coffee every day for years. Then one day you stop. How do you feel? Tired, foggy, maybe even grumpy. Does that mean coffee is necessary for happiness? It just means your body is rebalancing, and after a short adjustment period, you start to feel better than ever. More energy, better focus, no more crashes. The same thing happens with quitting porn. Your brain is just resetting. And here's where Easy Peasy flips everything upside down. Instead of seeing withdrawal as something to suffer through, it teaches you to see it as something to celebrate. Every uncomfortable moment, that's your brain healing. Every craving, that's just a sign that the addiction is losing its grip. Every time you feel restless, that's proof that you're getting your natural energy back. And once you reframe withdrawal, it completely loses its power. You stop fearing it. You stop fighting it. You actually start welcoming it, because you know that every bit of discomfort is bringing you one step closer to real freedom. Here's another way to look at it. Imagine you've been wearing foggy sunglasses for years. At first, you don't even notice how blurry they are. Then one day, you take them off. At first, everything looks strange, too bright, too sharp, too different. Your eyes take time to adjust, and for a little while, it's uncomfortable. But once they do adjust, you see everything clearly for the first time in years. That's what happens when you quit porn. At first, the world seems off. You feel restless, maybe even emotionally raw. But that's just your mind and body readjusting to reality. And once you get through that brief phase, life becomes clear, vivid, and real again. So, how long does this withdrawal period actually last? The truth is, it depends. Some people feel great within a few days. For others, it might take a couple of weeks. But here's what matters: the worst of it passes much faster than people think. And the only reason some people feel like withdrawal lasts longer is because they keep restarting the cycle. They go a few days without porn, feel a little discomfort, assume that means they need to go back, and then relapse, resetting the healing process all over again. And this is where a lot of people get stuck in the cycle of failure. They try to quit using willpower, treating it like a battle. They force themselves to resist cravings, thinking they're making a sacrifice. But that mindset actually makes withdrawal worse, because they're still thinking of porn as something they want but can't have. But Easy Peasy teaches something completely different. It shows you that you don't actually want porn. You only think you do because of years of conditioning. And the second you realize that porn isn't giving you anything, the cravings disappear. Not because you're resisting them, but because you stop believing in them. Think of it like a vending machine that's been stealing your money for years. You put in a coin, press the button, and nothing comes out. But you keep trying, convinced that one day it'll work. Then one day, you finally get it. The machine is broken, and once you realize that, you don't stand there trying to resist putting in another coin. You just walk away. That's what quitting porn should feel like. Not a fight, not a struggle. Just walking away from something that never worked in the first place. And once you do, everything changes. Your energy comes back. Your motivation returns. You start enjoying the little things again. Conversations, music, nature, real relationships. Life stops feeling flat, because now your dopamine system is actually working the way it's supposed to. So if you're someone who's afraid of withdrawal, ask yourself, what exactly am I afraid of? Feeling a little restless, having more energy, being slightly uncomfortable for a few days while my brain heals? Because here's the real fear people have: the fear that they can't do it, the fear that they're not strong enough, that they're stuck forever. But that's just another lie. You don't need strength to quit. You just need to see the truth. And the truth is, you were never really addicted to porn. You were just addicted to the illusion that it gave you something. And the moment you stop believing in that illusion, quitting isn't hard. It's effortless. That's it for today's episode of the Methodcast. If this resonated with you, don't just think about it. Act on it. And if you know someone who needs to hear this, send it their way. Because sometimes one shift in perspective is all it takes to change a life. I hope this conversation has given you some clarity and encouragement. If you found it helpful, share it with someone who might need it. Remember, freedom is closer than you think. Until next time, take care, stay hopeful, and keep moving forward toward the life you deserve.